Hello, my name is Aaron Weaver. I'm making this post to talk about the New York State Constitutional Convention, or the vote that's coming up in November. And I wish to talk about why I vote yes for the Constitutional Convention. I've heard all sides of this story. I've heard why people do not want to vote for it. I've heard why people want to vote for it. And as a fellow citizen of New York State, I respect that. I understand why some people are scared about this Constitutional Convention wanting to be voted for. But I wish you to hear me out. And before I talk about this, I just want you to know that if the Constitutional Convention is voted yes, don't freak out. There is an option. There is a way to vote for the right delegates. And I will explain that. I'm going to be reading, I'm not educational as in college or a lawmaker, so I'm going to be reading this step-by-step process on newamsterdamnewyork.org. And first I'm going to explain what this is all about. I'm for dividing New York State into 2 to 3 regions. That is dividing New York State into New Amsterdam, which will be north of New York City, New Gotham or New York City, which will be the second autonomous region, and possibly, and I really hope so, Long Island to become, or parts of Long Island to become its own autonomous region. And I want to vote yes for the Constitutional Convention so that I can vote for delegates who will support the idea of dividing our state into 3 autonomous regions. Now, for many of you who do not know what the Constitutional Convention is, that will be explained. Every 20, I'm going to be reading from the article here. Every 20 years, the people of New York State get to vote on whether to hold a New York State Constitutional Convention. If the convention is approved, delegates are elected for the convention the following November. The convention can then submit amendments to New York State Constitution directly to the voters. The next time the convention vote will be held is this November 7th, 2017. That's next month. First, there are 7 steps for us to be able to push the idea of forming different regions in our state. First thing you should do is November 2017. The proposition for holding a New York State Constitutional Convention will automatically appear on the ballot this November in a few. It will be on will be on the back of the ballot, and in a few ballots it will be on an extra sheet. Second, November 2018. We must put delegates on the ballot that will support the amendment to create autonomous regions. There are 3 delegates are elected for each Senate district, total 189, and an additional 15 delegates are elected statewide. Third, November 2018, we must vote for our delegates, the ones that support for what we wish to be done in our state. Fourth, November 2019, the amendment to create 2 autonomous regions is submitted to the voters. That's us. We must vote to approve it. 5, January 2020, new regional districts are drawn. 6, January through December 2020, the state prepares to divide into regions. And 7, November 2020, new region officials are elected to take office in December. Now there's more to this, and I encourage you to go on to newamsterdamny.org and to read more into this. But I really encourage that we do this. A lot of people say, well, why would you want to divide New York State? I thought all of New York State is supportive for liberal ideas such as the SAFE Act and other things like that, you know, to go more of a socialistic point of view. No. Believe it or not, most of upstate New York is very conservative, and those who are liberals up in upstate New York, many of the liberals are, even whether they admit it or not, are quite conservative in their views. And the reason for this is because we have a different culture up here than New York City. And even Long Island, parts of Long Island has a different culture than New York City. Our views up here, or our livelihood, is actually very constitutional. The founding fathers knew what they were talking about when it came to gun rights, free speech, all this kind of stuff. And it was for the common people. And you can't get more common or even more ordinary than us in upstate New York. We are very different. Our culture is very different. Our livelihoods are different. And the laws that are being passed because of the majority of people in New York State and their ignorance of our lives up here, they're being passed, is causing hardship and struggle in upstate New York. Not just our economy, but the way that we live. And you have no right to say that the way that we're living is wrong. And don't even say that we're racist up here. Don't even say that it's white supremacy. It is not. In fact, some of us are even more open-minded than liberals. But we will refuse to step away and consider the Constitution as just a scrap of paper. We believe it's a living, breathing law. And many of us believe, even liberals believe, that the Constitution the Bill of Rights tells of our rights that were given to us by our Creator. And that's a fact. I know many Democrats, Republicans. I'm neither one. I'm a conservative party. But I know many of my fellow neighbors who have similar ideas and beliefs as myself. And living up here where I live in the Adirondack Mountains, it's not easy. Okay? And the laws that are being passed by New York State is killing us. Not just our economy, but even for us to even live on our own lands. If you read the history about separating New York City, you'll find out Hamilton County, where I live, was one of the first that really tried to move it. Because we were pretty much beaten up. And I'm sure our twin sister, Herkimer County, and some other counties around us will probably agree with us that, yeah, we need to have our own rights, to make our own laws that suit our cultures. Not culture, cultures up here. And this is why I'm supporting the Constitutional Convention. Because I hope, and I have hope, that we will be able to vote for our own delegates so that we can be free from New York City and their extremist liberals. Not liberals, extremist liberals. They're extreme. To be free from them. And not so that we can live the old-fashioned way back in time like they're thinking. We're actually more progressive in some ideas than they realize. We're actually ahead of our time in some ideas. before they even came up with it. But you can be ahead of the times. You can think differently and still be under the Constitution and be protected by the laws of God. Alright, well, that's all I have to say. You have the right to vote what you wish. But I do ask of you again, if this does pass for a constitutional convention, that you'll go on to this website, amsterdamny.org, and to keep in touch, to support and vote for the right delegates. Thank you.